them in place to keep us in chains. By show of hands, who else is sick and tired of the same 1%? Trying to keep us small, trying to keep us from getting out. Minimizing the struggles they've caused, saying we're not working hard enough.
We really should stop this fighting. Otherwise, we'll miss the fireworks.
There won't be any fireworks.
And here we go.
And welcome everybody to Suck It. I am the great and powerful King of Kings, Prince of all that is awesome, Derek. How the fuck are you guys today on this beautiful Monday afternoon on the spring day, March 22nd of the year that has been 2021? Woo! So, if you guys didn't notice, I took a little bit of a week off last week to kind of recenter myself and take some time for me, and I did that, and I prepared a lot of stuff coming up for you guys, so let's just get right into it, because I missed the show, and I missed you guys, and we'll be back full force this week, so let's get right to it. So, as you guys know, I am a huge LGBTQ advocate. I have been for a very long time. My oldest daughter, who's 19, came out as lesbian in October of 2019, right before she turned 18, and even went and got matching tattoos with her, my gay pride tattoo. And it's been nice, being able to be a part of something so big and so fun to be a part of. But lately, if you haven't noticed, which I'm sure you have, in the news has been a lot of stuff, not so much anti-gay, which I guess is a step in the right direction, but not really. But it's been anti-trans, and there's been a lot of anti-trans movements saying, trans girls cannot participate in girls' sports. Legislation coming down from different states, trying to ban that. But then at the same time, the federal government is putting out, just passed the Equality Act, which says that's allowed. So there's a lot of misinformation, a lot of contradicting information out there. There's still a lot of hate. There's still a lot of this and that. And I'm not having it. And I'm, making a stand this week with two separate guests. One today is a member of PFLAG from Florida and has a trans son. And then on Friday, I will be talking to the Assistant Director of Communications for the LGBTQ Task Force in Washington, D.C., more in regards to the policies and how the laws work and so on and so forth. But today we're going to kind of dive into a parent's point of view and how things, are looking where she's at, and kind of have a nice long discussion about this. So let's just get right to it. So she wants to kind of remain anonymous, but we'll give as much information as we can about her, and we will talk in depth about a lot of different things today. So without any further ado, please welcome Laura. What's up? How are you?
I'm good. How are you?
Good. Now that I figured out the audio issues, we can try round two.
Thank you so much for having me today. I appreciate it.
Say again? What was that?
Thank you so much for having me.
Oh, absolutely. Today. It's my pleasure. When our mutual friend or your family member, my friend, told me about you last week, I was like, I got to have her on my show. I want her on my show. So I immediately reached out to her and told her that. So it was a no-brainer to have you on. So I'm very, very happy to have you here. So thank you for coming on.
Well, thank you for providing a safe space.
You know what? Surprisingly enough, this is a safe space. I mean, if you don't know much about the show, my show's primarily mental health related. However, I do it in a entertainment and comedic way. I interview bands, I interview authors, actors, comedians. I've done this now. I think this is episode 185. Just celebrated 1 year. I do a lot of different things for a lot of different people. And this is a safe space. I've had people, admit to drug addictions that they never told anybody else about on the show. I've had people break down and cry, talking about their mental illness and their recovery. And then at the same time, I've had a supermodel come on the show, take out her hair extensions, take off of her eyelash extensions and clear all of her makeup and just was a natural state just because she felt so comfortable on the show. And that was actually one of the biggest compliments I've ever had. So this is a safe space. Anything you say, won't be used against you, unless it's in terms of a joke, because that's just what I fucking do. But at the same time, everything I do has a purpose, and I do it for a lot of different reasons. But advocacy and awareness is my biggest one. So I can't think of a better way to kick off what I'm doing this week other than with you. So thank you again for being here.
Well, thank you so much. I am Laura. I'm from Florida. I'm in the thicket of advocacy in my county for the LGBTQ students in the public schools. I just want every child to be able to go to school and get an education. Like, no discrimination based on anything. I mean, we've made it this far. Why can't we just add gender? I mean, we have in Brevard County, but there's a lot of people that don't want that to happen, and it's because there's a lack of education as far as like terminology goes and what transgender actually means, and what it would mean just girls using boys' bathroom, boys using girls' bathroom. It's a narrative that has been created by someone who is trying to spread it's fake news. Is basically what it is. It's fake news.
For the first time in a long time, it really is fake news. Yeah.
Yes. It's not girls using boys' bathrooms, boys using girls. It's transgender kids using the bathroom of the boys or girls, whichever one they identify with.
Yeah.
So you have transgender boys using boys' bathrooms, and you have transgender girls using girls' bathrooms. And if we were to listen to these people who are against these new guidelines, we would have transgender boys using the girls' bathroom. And I guarantee you that these parents do not want my son walking in to the girls' bathroom to use the bathroom. They don't, because he's a boy. He's a boy.
Yeah. So
what they're doing is they're going to, they don't understand.
Well, here's where I've seen the majority of the bigotry come from. It's not so much girls transitioning to boys, it's the boys that transition to girls.
Right.
And that's where I'm seeing a lot of the hate. Even these specific, new bills that are coming out from different states, like I know it's Mississippi's doing one, and I think Arkansas, I think North Dakota as well. I can't remember specifically, but either way, there's a bunch of states doing it to where it's only preventing trans girls from playing sports. Which, wait a second. So I have a problem with this on two fronts. Number one, basically what you're saying at this point is that men and women aren't equal. And you're basically playing down the abilities of the other females. That's number one. So it's sexist in itself right there. But then number two, if you're so worried about these girls playing with men, your son should not be able to play with what they refer to as real men. Because isn't he at more of a risk? No, they don't care about that front. They're like, oh, if he wants to play and get hurt, that's on him. But this girl over here, fuck that. You know what I'm saying? And that's where the biggest problem comes in. So number one, in its own nature, it's sexist because it's, comparing women to men and basically saying women are less, which I don't believe that at all because I know many women that can kick my ass. And number two, why not the trans boys? What's wrong with them? Oh, wait, nope, doesn't matter. it makes your head hurt just thinking about it.
I don't, what is it going to take? What is it going to take for these people to understand?
I don't know. Because
That's not sitting on our asses anymore. It's me and you, the parents of the LGBTQ kids, getting up and sort of just doing our part as far as educating the community goes.
But at the same time, we also have assholes like Ben Shapiro out there constantly negating people's, how they feel and act. It's so maddening, for lack of a better term. We've got people out there that support idiots like Ben Shapiro and Marjorie Taylor Greene, who are out there just spouting bigotry at its finest, quoting Bible verses and this and that. And, it's like whenever I rebut them, well, in Leviticus, it says, okay, great. But in Exodus, it also says that I could sell my daughter into slavery. How much should I charge for her? It also in Leviticus, it states to stone your neighbor that works on the Sabbath. Should we kill him now, or should we hire a murderer to do that? I mean, where's the line? Oh, that's right. These Bible thumpers use the fucking Bible as a buffet and pick and choose what benefits them. I forgot about that. Welcome to conservative America.
Welcome, everybody, where we chug Mountain Dew and moonshine at noon a.m.
Damn right. And get sleeve tattoos.
It's water.
Oh, you still... Aw, see? Y'all had me psyched out and shit. I was thinking you were drinking moonshine at noon on a Monday.
That's just water. Hydrate or dehydrate.
That's right. You gotta keep hydrated. So, let's go back to the beginning here. Let's look at this a little bit deeper.
Good.
So, let's take all that political bullshit out for a second here, and let's talk directly about you and your son.
Okay.
When did he come to you and say, hey, I don't like the fact that I have a JJ. I want to become a boy. I mean, I know that's not what it was saying. I'm saying that for comedic effect. But, because it's such a strong subject, I got to throw in some levels of humor. So when did he come to you? And did you notice any signs before that?
Yes.
Okay.
2 years ago, and yes, as a mother, which we can get into the definition of mother later. That's a whole nother podcast, probably.
Yeah, definitely.
But as a mother, you just know your child, and I've known for so long that the standard narrative in our family has been you can be who you want to be. You can be whatever you want to be. So I knew that I had to create a safe space. Probably by the time my son started to walk. So
now, is that how you were raised with your mother as well? Or were you kind of more conservative?
Well, I've never really thought about that. That's a good question. I was definitely not raised the way that I raised my children.
The real reason I ask is because of our mutual friend, your family member that I'm friends with, was raised very conservatively. And it was only after her dad passed away, 15 years ago or whatever it was, that she kind of started opening her eyes to, holy shit, what was I doing? And, and that's why I'm asking, how you were raised to compare to what you're doing now. I get deep.
Well, as of recently, I started asking myself if I had been trans, how my family would have handled it. And I really, it's sad to say that I would have been sent to conversion therapy.
Holy shit.
I absolutely would have been sent to conversion therapy, and our mutual friend agrees. We've discussed this. Um, I don't know. I'm sure you can relate to this as being a dad. You sort of like in life, you learn things, but you also learn you learn how to be, but you also learn how not to be.
Yeah.
If that makes any sense.
Oh yeah, I
And
mean, I learned a lot of what not to be from my dad. I still love my dad very, very much, but he was, raised the old-fashioned way by an old-fashioned dad who lived on a farm in the middle of country in the middle of Ohio. So I get it. But like when I told my dad that my daughter was gay, he was like, "Oh, it's just a phase. I don't want to hear anything about that." I'm like, "Jesus Christ, Dad." And I was like, "Whatever." So when I got a gay pride tattoo on my arm,
yeah,
let me see if I can. Can you see it? It says love. Yeah, so it's in the rainbow and it says love.
I love that.
So I'm actually, I take pride in the fact. I don't know this for a fact, but I'm almost positive that I'm maybe one of 5 straight men in the entire country that has a gay pride tattoo. And probably the other 4 got those because they lost a bet. That is my guess. They lost a bet. I did it willingly as a 18th birthday present for my daughter. We went and got them together. So
How old is your daughter?
she is
If you don't mind.
she's 19 now.
Nice.
Yes.
So my son turned 16. He's chomping at the bit to start driving. Circle back around. It feels like yesterday that he was just learning to run and walk, and I just knew that we were identifying with the rainbow flag. If that makes any sense.
Oh, it makes 100% sense because when my youngest, excuse me, my oldest, my 19-year-old, was younger, she was boy crazy. Okay? Absolutely boy crazy. However, you ask her about kissing boys or anything else like that, ew, that's gross. So it was like, okay, something's up here. And then as she got, huh?
Little flag, not
Yeah,
red flag, rainbow flag.
these are little flags. It's just like, oh, okay, maybe there's something going on here. But then as she got older, she started dating guys that looked like Post Malone on crack. And I'm like, okay, there's something not right here. Why, for somebody who's boy crazy and somebody who is a gorgeous girl, she's fucking gorgeous. And I fucking hate it that she's so pretty, but now I don't, whatever. But I was like, there's just something not right here. And at the time, she was saying that she was bi, and I kept telling my my ex-wife, I'm like, this girl's gay. She's fucking gay. And for the longest time, it was a joke in the house. Whenever she would say something stupid, I'm like, shut up, you're gay. And that was just, what, just the way. She's like, no, I'm bi. And that was just like the running joke in the house. And then she finally walked into, mine and my ex-wife's room with, back then and said, I guess I'm going to tell you. I'm like, okay, what? She goes, yeah, I actually am gay. And I said, I'd known this. She goes, why didn't you tell me? I said, I tried. You wouldn't listen. So we do have that innate ability.
Yeah.
But so I know what it's like to raise a gay kid, but you are raising a trans kid. So that's obviously different by nature. I mean, there's going to be some similarities, obviously. But it's much different because now, 5 years ago, you were buying her dresses, and, nice shoes or, pink and this and that. And now, within the last 2 years, you're buying him different things and he's going by a different name. And, there's a lot of different things, that can be different. What was it like when he came to you 2 years ago? Let's just start there. When he came to you 2 years ago and came out like this, what was your immediate reaction?
Well, I was laying in bed, getting ready to go to bed. You know how it's a bad habit. I'm trying to get out of it. a whole nother podcast right there about mental health. But so I was scrolling through my phone and just making sure I was caught up on everything, and I opened my email. And
You're not allowed to listen to any other mental health podcasts going forward. Just to let you know.
Really?
I'm banning you.
It's too late.
No other mental health podcast you're allowed to listen to. It's just
Why?
because this is the only mental health podcast you will ever need. Suck It Podcast is the best of the best.
But I already listened to other mental health podcasts.
Well, do other mental health podcasts integrate music and new artists and music release parties and have comedians on and all this? No, I'm eclectic. You're gonna get something different every day with my show.
All right, I can respect that.
Like this Wednesday, I'm doing a live CD release party with a new band out of Indiana. We're previewing their album. You know, they're also mental health advocates, which plays in together. See, I totally stopped your story dead to rights, but you know, I gotta plug myself. All right, anyway, you were laying in bed listening to another mental health show.
Nice plug to your own Twitch channel there.
YouTube, damn it, and Spotify and iHeartRadio, everywhere podcasts are found.
Smash that subscribe button. Turn on notifications.
Oh yeah, I forgot to hit that button.
All that.
Make sure you hit that like button, please. Hit that like button.
Smash it. Smash it with love. Take your frustrations with the patriarchy and gently take control of that and hit follow.
All right. So anyway, you were laying in bed listening to another podcast, and
I was not listening to another podcast.
you were catching up on world events.
I was. I don't know. Probably Instagram. I saw an email. So I opened my email, and there was an email from my son. And my son and I have always had, knock on wood, bless sweet Lord, baby Jesus in heaven, we've always had a really good open communication relationship. We've always been able to understand each other. He's a blessing. He's my hero. So when I saw an email from him in my inbox, I knew what was going on. So, you know, as a parent, it's like panic sets in for a second. So I clicked it. I knew something major was going on. And he had recently come out as pan. But that was the first time he had identified with the LGBTQ community. He came out as pan. And then I got an email that said, and I can't remember it, and I actually just talked to him about this yesterday because I had to like clean out my inbox and I was afraid I accidentally deleted it, but he's got a hard copy somewhere, so I'll be able to read it again. But I've read through it and I was basically like, okay, all right, we're doing this, like, let's go. And it basically, he was like, I'm transgender, I'm really sorry. There was a lot of apologies going on, which I'm like really big on not apologizing if it's something that you don't really need to be apologizing for. So, but bless his heart, he was so concerned with my mental well-being. He's just such a good kid. But he's like, don't freak out, you know, typical teenage. Let's see, he's 60. So he's like 13 or 14 when he wrote me this email. 8th grade, already fucking rough in middle school. And I got in my car and I drove to him.
So he was with his dad at the time?
Yeah.
Okay.
I was married. I don't know how much our mutual has still doing, but I was married for about 15 years to my children's father, and we got married really young. We're practically still partners to some extent. It's not romantic at all, but
that's how it
I
is.
wouldn't say we're friends, but
that's how it is with me and my ex-wife. Yeah.
Like, he's my emergency contact on everything.
So is my ex-wife.
I respect my baby daddy. All right.
That makes life a lot easier when that happens too, doesn't it?
Yeah. Oh gosh.
Oh my God.
It's so simple. That's another podcast altogether.
It is.
You better start writing these things down because we're coming up with a lot of ideas.
I know you're gonna have to come on more often. I'm having a lot of fun with you.
So where was I? So I drove to him. He was at his dad's house, which is only like 5 miles away, maybe less than that, from where I live. And I was like, I'm coming over, even though he's like, you don't need to do anything about this right now. I was like, it's like 9 o'clock at night, and you just sent me a coming out letter. Like, I'm not just gonna go to sleep. I'm coming over. And I got him, and we got in my car, and I wanted to go to somewhere that was neutral. Like, I didn't want to go to my house, and I didn't want to be at Danny's house. Like, I wanted to go somewhere where both of us just felt like we were on neutral ground. We could just be comfortable. So we went to the beach because I live close to the beach. So we went and we parked, and I was like, all right, tell me what's up. And he just, there were a lot of tears. There was a lot of reassurance on my part. And then literally overnight, I had a son.
How did your ex react?
Oh, he's a great dad. He reacted well. I mean, yeah.
That's awesome. I mean,
Yeah, no pushback or anything from dad, or dad was just like, okay, I love you no matter what.
and that's a huge thing. That's a huge thing.
So huge and so simple, and I don't understand why it's so hard for people to understand.
Because the thing about it is, people don't understand the science of it.
Right.
You know, so let's go ahead and throw scientific, nomenclature out for a second here. Okay? Let's not be technical in any which way, shape, or form. Let's go ahead and be as loose as we can with this. For lack of a better explanation, let's just go ahead and again, this is not meant to be derogatory. So again, this is bare minimum explanation. For lack of a better term, for anyone who doesn't understand it, put it in terms of like a birth defect, kind of, in a sort of way.
Okay.
To where, and again, it's not a birth defect in any which way, shape, or form. It's not a birth defect. But for lack of a better way of explaining it, let's look at it like that.
Okay.
To where, and this isn't for you and I. We obviously know the real science behind it, but this is for everybody else. So the hormone levels and the way that their brain happens, every cell, every human being that starts off in the womb starts as a female. And then the ovaries will drop and turn into gonads, and I just said gonads. Oh, and then, the vagina never really forms, and penises grow, and stuff like that. We all know how that works. However, some people either get too much of one hormone or less of another hormone, or their brain never, for lack of a better term, doesn't fully develop into the sex that they're meant to be, and there's a lot of different things that could be. But for lack of a better term, when they're born, they're not born fully as a male or fully as a female. And as they grow older, they start to realize, wait a second, I'm supposed to be something else. And that something else is what they truly are. And that is the science behind it. It has nothing to do with genitalia. Because if that's the case, what is a hermaphrodite? Is it a female or a male? You cannot go there. So it has nothing to do with genitalia. So I'm sick and tired of people saying, well, it matters between your legs. Okay. Well, what about that trans female?
Just stop them there.
Huh?
Just stop. Like, let's just stop them there. Like, just stop talking.
I know, but it bothers me.
It bothers me too.
I mean, because they try to come up with their own science. They try to come up with their own logic. And it's like, unless you're a real fucking scientist or a real doctor, please don't speak on this, because a book that you read or that you go to church for every Sunday is not going to teach you proper biology. Just saying. And it's not fair. It's not fair. And if a trans girl wants to play football. A trans girl wants to play football or lacrosse or whatever the case might be. Biologically speaking, after 2 years of hormone replacement therapy, this is scientific fact. It just came out 2 weeks ago from somewhere in England. One of the universities in England. That after 2 years of hormone replacement therapy, there is no biological difference between a cisgender and a transgender. After 2 years of hormone replacement therapy. Now,
So you're referring to a male trans female or female trans male?
both.
Okay.
So originally, there were some studies done a while back because the International Olympic Committee was trying to figure out how they can work this into it, and they came up with a rule that says you have to be on hormone replacement therapy for 1 year. However, now there's new evidence that says, hey, we really need to wait 2 years because that's when the full transition actually happens.
Gotcha. That's interesting. I didn't know that.
I did not either. Like I said, I just read this I knew about the 1 year thing from the IOC because I had heard that before, but the 2 year thing, like I said, it's a brand new research study that just came out of one of the universities in England, and it says after 2 years, biologically, hormonally, there's no difference.
Let's Google it.
Yeah, because I need to cite a source on this. I'll link it in the bio, people.
I heard a story that smart people Google well.
Say again? You heard what?
Intelligent people Google well. They know how to Google.
Oh, yeah, because we don't know all the answers.
Because we're lifelong learners. Okay, we're just constantly learning. That's something about being an advocate is you just have to always be open to learning new information.
Yeah.
Trans women retain athletic edge after 1 year. Okay. The findings raise questions about current Olympic guidelines.
Yeah, and that's that's exactly what it was.
Journal of Sports Medicine published in February.
Yep, that's it.
Yeah. Yeah, but okay, so high school sports isn't the Olympics, but I understand what you're saying. At
Correct.
the bare minimum, like we've already decided scientifically what is what. So
Correct.
But in the end, it doesn't even fucking matter. Like just let kids play sports.
Correct. But again, take that all out of the picture. Again, it's
Right.
a matter of saying, hey, one gender is inferior to the other.
Right.
Which again, there's women out there that could absolutely destroy men. You cannot say that. I mean, do our fast twitch fibers move a millisecond faster? Maybe. I mean, so we might be able to run a tad faster. But then at the same time, there might be that chick that can bench 235 while I can only bench 175. So she might be slower than me, but she's going to hit me a whole hell of a lot harder. So, again, it doesn't fucking matter. It really doesn't. And anyone who says differently, it's not even about being transphobic. It's just straight up sexist as well. It's a double whammy. It really is. And I think that's the biggest problem, is that people are just looking at it as transphobic. Well, absolutely it is. But it's also, it's bad. It's just, it's demonizing, gender equality is basically what it is doing.
And we've come so far, people. Come on, let's not revert any further back. Of all times to launch an attack on our people, like our own fellow humans, why during 2020?
Because over the last 4 years, we've gotten somebody who doesn't have a filter and says whatever the fuck he wants to, and people are like, oh, if the man in charge can do it, so can I.
Good point.
And that's really what it comes down to. Because, you know, in today's society, we have more so than ever, and I'm sure you can kind of identify with this in a way, we have this cult-like mentality to where everybody feels the need to follow the crowd, and the crowds that they're following are spewing false information and growing these cults of hate, or not even so much hate as just misinformation to push their own agenda. But then at the same time, you've got these good organizations that are trying to do good, but then these people just join up just because, you know, oh, well, everybody else is doing it. And again, so they're kind of negating the good thing that the other group is trying to do. And again, it's that cult-like mentality to where we have to be a part of something. And whatever that person says, God damn it, I'm going to fucking, you know, believe everything they say. That's the truth.
Amen, brother.
Preach it. Mental note, never do that again. That was bad.
What?
Huh?
What was that?
What I just did, the preach it. Oh shit, I said never do it again, and I just did it. See?
Oh, absolutely. Do it one more time. Third time.
No, I'm good. No, because my haters are gonna take a clip of that and post it places. All right. While she's doing her thing, we're going to take a quick break and we'll be right back. Tonight's episode is brought to you by BetterHelp. BetterHelp is an app that allows you to, 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, 365 days a year, connect with your therapist to make sure that you're getting the best help possible. BetterHelp is different in the fact that you don't have to go to your Cigna or Blue Cross Blue Shield website, look through thousands and thousands of therapists in your area that may or may not be accepting new patients, and then have to wait weeks upon weeks to get into that waiting room, and then wait an hour or two to get to see that person in that waiting room, only to find out that you don't connect on that personal level, and they're not what you need. BetterHelp avoids all that. They connect you with a therapist, and then you can choose right away whether or not you like them and decide whether or not you want to get a different one. BetterHelp is different because of that. And when you go to betterhelp.com/SIPod, you get 10% off your first month. BetterHelp is the best therapy app out there today. There's nothing better. And I'm so grateful to have connected with them because I use them. And as someone who speaks from a mental health perspective who has bipolar, it helps me every day. And I hope that they can help you as well. As a matter of fact, I know they can. So again, do yourself a favor, go to betterhelp.com/SIPod for 10% off your first month. BetterHelp. You can't go wrong. All right, and we're back.
Sorry about that.
No, you needed water, and you know, again, you need to hydrate. Stay hydrated.
And it takes a while to fill this up. I mean, it's 24 ounces of moonshine.
That's quite all right. So, since the transition, how has his life been? How has he been dealing with things? How has his friends reacted? You know, what has his life been like?
That's been great.
Oh, it has.
It's been fabulous.
How did his friends take it? Let's start there.
We've had a lot of fun. So what I say, like, to people is that I had like a shell of a child. It was sad. I had a shell of a child before my child came out as trans, and as soon as my child was able to embrace their truth,
Yeah,
had a child.
I get that.
And so we've had to deal with like all the other regular like I said, middle school is hard. Like his father and I separated and then divorced. He's got a little sister who's 7 years younger. Um, so there's been trials and tribulations, but overall, we are definitely doing the right thing for our kid.
Sure as hell seems like it. Absolutely.
I mean, anybody asks him, he's happy. He's living his truth.
What was that first day at school like? Do you know?
Let me think. You know, I'm not him.
Well,
So I can never
did
speak
he
like
tell you? I mean,
feel. You know, I don't think he went back to school that week.
okay.
I think like that. I wish I could see the email again because I tried to look it up, but I wish I could look at the date and see stuff that like try to piece together because it was so long ago and we've come so far that like I don't remember all the little details.
Yeah.
I haven't really been in a space to be able to talk about it because COVID and other stuff. Like it's not just my son is trans. Like I'm a mom. I do other things.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah.
So
Your whole life isn't your trans son, obviously.
I mean, right. But it is.
But it is.
You know what I mean.
Yeah, I know exactly what you mean. Yes, I know exactly what you mean.
Oh my God. I think I remember sending out emails to all of his middle school teachers and letting them know that he was transitioning from female to male, and this was the name, and these were the pronouns, and please, uh, I don't think I asked them to support. I think I just assumed that they would, and I was sadly disappointed.
Were you?
Because of my background is in education. I have a BA from Flagler College in K through 6. And I was a preschool teacher. My mom is a teacher. A lot of teachers in my family. So it's sort of in my nature. Um, so I was just expecting everyone to like be open and accepting. And that wasn't the case. And that was sort of like my first dose of, okay, this is what we're up against. Was because of the response that I got from his teachers, or lack of response.
So they weren't accepting at first.
Some were, some weren't.
Well, that's at least somewhat positive.
It's unfortunate because my son is an artist, and naturally one of his favorite classes is art, right? And his teacher was just absolutely horrendous. Absolutely horrendous.
Oh, that sucks.
So we dealt with that, and then it wasn't too long after that so it was like, maybe he had like 3 months left of school. So we finished it out, and then he was due to start high school. So we decided we were going to start high school in another area because, well, his dad and I are divorced, and so we live in different zones. So basically, our kids get the choice, and it's 50-50. We share custody of our kids 50-50, so we both have a say in everything, and we could pick and choose where our kids go to school, which is cool, but there's freedom of choice. But anyways, it was easy to get him into another high school with whole other kids, and he's gonna live his life fresh, new people. As far as like having friends from before the transition, maybe one or two, but we didn't really have any falling out with anyone because of the transition. It just had to do with the fact that he switched schools, and we had just moved over here, so he was sort of like new. It's not like he grew up here and he has childhood friends. He was born here, but then we grew up north of here, like 3 hours north of here, and then lived in another part of Florida, so we had just moved here like that year or the year after that he came out. So it was, we dodged some bullets there socially, I think. But now he's in high school and he's getting his high school experience and he's loving it, and we're having so much fun. But at the same time, like I think our county is heading in the right direction as far as protecting all students, including LGBTQ, regardless of sexual identity or gender identity, sexual orientation or gender identity, right?
Mm-hmm.
There we go. This is just baffling, like all students. I shouldn't even have to say those things.
Yeah, you shouldn't. Yes, correct.
They're children, and they're at school, and they're supposed to be safe, and they're supposed to get an education regardless. Like, we went through this in the 60s. Are we really going to repeat another attack on children? Like,
Absolutely. Absolutely we are. And I've talked about this many, many times over the last year. Especially when I'm talking to musicians and other things like that. And we get into conversations like this and Black Lives Matter and, the government and all this other bullshit. It's sad that we can go back 60 years to the 1960s, listen to Jimi Hendrix, and those exact same lyrics that he's singing about then apply today. That is really sad. So it's no different. It's just the times have changed, but the thought process hasn't. We could say we're evolved. We can say that, we've changed, but we really haven't. Everyone has an agenda, and it's depressing.
It is. I can't wait to talk more with you when we're not being recorded.
Absolutely. We're going to have some...
I have strong opinions, but I'm very reserved. I have humongo fucking walls up right now because this is an attack on my children, and unfortunately I have to cover my ass.
I know, and I could sense that. And that's why I'm kind of doing the bitching and letting you just kind of sit back and, I have no filter. I have no problem offending people. I have no problem with going against the grain. I have no problem with any of that. That is, because that's just who I am. Because, one of the things that bothers me is, I'm more liberal than anything, obviously. I mean, I'm not 100% liberal because a lot of things that they believe, I don't believe in either. But one of the things that people always complain about liberals about is that we're soft or that we're, what's the word that they use all the time?
Sensitive?
Huh?
Sensitive?
I mean, yeah, sensitive, yes, but they call it something else too. I can't remember what it's called. But anyway, they refer to us as just being overly sensitive and everything offends us. And cancel culture started on the left. Well, that is the complete opposite of what I believe in. I have no problem, saying things that may or may not get me canceled. I have no problem with this at all because if it's for the right purpose, I'm gonna make that statement. I've made I got some hate once for a really controversial statement I made. So, a while back.
Wow. Are we talking like 5 years, 10 years?
Like 5 months, 5 or 6 months ago.
Okay, so really not, in reality, not that far.
Okay, so in terms of my show, a while back, 5-6 months ago, I did an episode about this group of conservative Christian mothers called 1 Million Moms. Have you ever heard of them?
I have not.
They're horrible people. But they love to attack the media for anything that they put out there that has to do with LGBTQ stuff.
Cool.
So, I don't know if you remember this, but somewhere around September, October, Oreo put out a bunch of LGBTQ Oreos.
I got mine.
And they even did a commercial with it. The commercial basically had, a lesbian daughter and her girlfriend come home to visit her family. The dad wasn't really comfortable with it. I know you're just talking about it, but just in case everyone else hasn't. And the dad wasn't really comfortable. He was kind of standoffish, and the mom kept, whatever. And then at the very end of the commercial, the dad's outside painting their white picket fence in a rainbow flag. And the daughter gets all emotional, and it's a nice, happy bonding moment. Well, this group, 1 Million Moms, shit all over it. We're going to boycott Oreo and Nabisco. We're going to do this, screw Mondelez, and blah, 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 blah. And they, went on a tirade, went on CNN. They did everything they possibly could to get this shut down. It obviously didn't work, but I digress. So,
I never heard of them.
Huh?
I've never heard of them. So they obviously
that's why it didn't work, because they just, their voices are so quiet because nobody believes in them. They call themselves 1 Million Moms. However, normally on a daily basis, when they put out a petition to get something canceled, they usually only get about 15,000 signatures. So it's really like 15,000 moms. So, just saying. But anyway, I went on the episode, and I kind of did what I did earlier about, quoting Bible verses and stuff like that. But one of the things I said was, if you want to pick and choose the Bible, whatever, that's fine. But I want you to remember this. Also, the same book that you're quoting considered you as a female to be a lesser being than men. So if we want to go back to that, let's go back there fully. So do me a favor and get in that kitchen and make me some fucking pie.
Are we living in are we living in a dystopian future?
Apparently. But I made that quote, and I said for all of the 1 million moms out there, get in the kitchen and make me some pie. Just like that. And that got me a lot of hate. At the end of the day, I went back and re-explained. I'm like, listen, I don't really mean that. It was just a metaphor for how stupid that period of time was, and things have changed, obviously. So I have no problem saying something controversial to make my point. So you can remain walls up. My walls are down. I'm standing here butt ass naked, just showing the world everything I got.
No, you're not.
No, I'm not. I'm wearing my Deadpool shirt and a hat.
You got your beard.
Huh?
I like your beard.
Well, thank you. It's my pride and joy.
I trim mine every day.
You do? Okay. My ex-wife always used to get one hair right here, and she called it Spike.
When you start naming your facial hair.
Huh?
When you start a bond with your facial hair.
Yeah, his name was Spike. He always came back. She would be running around the house going, "Where are my tweezers? Spike is back." Oh, okay, cool. Now that we've taken a right turn off the topic of conversation, let's go a little. I want to go a little bit deeper here, if you're willing to talk about it.
All right.
Surgical transition.
Okay.
Has you had that conversation? Has he had that conversation? What is the plan, if there is any?
That is not something that I feel like I need to discuss with you.
That's fine. That's fine.
But speaking as an advocate, I'm definitely pro whatever the fuck you want to do. You want to get surgery? I mean, let's make sure you're taking care of your mental health before we go under the knife under any circumstances.
Correct. Yeah, I do believe, especially, again, with that cult-like mentality that we have today, there are a select few, not a lot, there are a select few that think they might be, that ended up transitioning, that end up going, oh, wait, maybe I'm not, because they didn't get the proper psychiatric care beforehand.
I think there's like a 1% chance.
Yes, it's just very small, but I've seen, I think I've seen 3 or 4 interviews in the last year with female to male transitions that have decided against it. So it's like 1%. It's 4 people that I know of in a 1-year time period, and this happens over many, many years. So it's not even just 1 year.
Care of your mental health, so you're making all the right decisions.
Correct. Yeah. I mean, there was one guy who transitioned to being a male, and I think he did it in California. and it wasn't like he didn't even have a psychiatric evaluation. They just said, no problem, we'll take care of it. And
When? Years and years and years ago?
no,
maybe?
this was, I think it was 2014, 2015.
California.
Yeah. Yeah. And then afterwards, he realized, wait, I want to go back to being a girl again because this is not really who I am. And yeah. So I do believe in the psychiatric part of it, just to be sure. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. So there is a lot involved there.
So much.
Yeah. So doing it the right way is very, very important.
Psychiatrist and a therapist on call, that just like we have a general practitioner or an OBGYN for me as a cisgender female.
Yeah.
I mean, some doctors you just have to have. I think one of those should be mental health doctors. Like, normalize mental health, normalize it.
There's a lot of things that we do in this country that need to be that need to be normalized.
I don't think it has anything to do with how people want to live their lives. It has
if you're not hurting anybody, and you're not doing anything illegal, live your fucking life.
Exactly.
Because the thing about it is, if I was gay and I married a dude, does it really affect you in any which way, shape, or form? No, it really doesn't. If you're a religious baker and you don't want to bake me a cake, fine. Fuck you. I'll find somebody else. I mean, I'll go to the local grocery store or whatever. Give them my business.
I don't fucking cake, bitch.
Well, if you want to quote the Bible, if you're a female baker, get in that kitchen and make me. I'm just kidding.
I couldn't quote the Bible if I tried.
Say again?
I couldn't quote the Bible even if I tried.
I know. I unfortunately have read that thing many, many times.
I wouldn't say that's unfortunate. I think that, you have an educated perspective that I don't have.
It's not even that I respect it. It's that I wanted to understand the psyche of the people who thump it more.
Word.
I wanted, when I had arguments against what they believe, I wanted to be able to say, well, this here, this there, and say, well, that doesn't apply today, but why does this? I wanted to be able to go against that and use their own knowledge against them.
So what do you do? You say, show me where. And where in the Bible does it say it's wrong to be transgender? What do people use? How do people respond? What do they show you in the Bible?
There's nothing they could say about that. Yes. That right there wasn't even a thought back then. The only thing that they could do, the only thing it says in reality is that a man shall not lay with another man, because in reality, other man that's being laid on, it has feminine qualities, and that's why it was deemed bad, is because the man that was taking it, the catcher, for lack of a better term, was deemed to be feminine, and that was a negative connotation. So that's why it was deemed bad. Not for the act. No. Just because one of them ended up being the woman. And isn't that pretty sad? That's pretty messed up when you think about it like that.
I was thinking about that in the Latin words, the Latin root meaning of homosexual and homo and homo sapien and homo
erectus.
And so when they're quoting these things in the Bible, are we sure we are referring to the same thing that they were referring to back then when they were speaking Latin?
But again, I mean, there's been a lot of misquotes and a lot of mistranslations in the Bible.
Yes.
But one of the things that we've got to remember too is that they didn't understand evolution. You know what I mean? So them stepping out and trying to gather anything else other than what they were doing, like us being called Homo sapiens wasn't a thing at that time. We were just people. You know what I mean?
Almost like sapien, unless you're my stepdad, you're a caveman.
Caveman. A Neanderthal.
A Neanderthal. He took one of those DNA tests. Turns out he's 100% Neanderthal. No.
Those DNA tests scare me.
I have one, and it is probably out of date by now because I haven't done it yet. I'm adopted, so I have no idea anything.
God, that's common in your family.
What?
The adoption.
Being adopted. Yeah. We have a very special bond.
Yeah. People at home are going, "What the hell are they talking about?" You'll never know.
But you know, if you know, you know. You know.
I'm trying to think that I know if there's any of my 50,000 people that that listen to the show are know her specifically.
Huh.
I don't even know.
I don't know. You should ask her if we can name drop.
I'll do it just to piss her off. I know she listens, so I can just drop her name and she'll be like, "That motherfucker." And then I'll get a phone call. "God damn it, Derek. What is wrong with you?" I'm gonna put this out tonight, and then if my phone rings immediately after, I'm gonna know exactly who to blame. Be like, "Oh, it was my fault. My bad."
She's at work right now. She's got better shit to do than watch. Oh wait, we're not live, so never mind.
No, well, she is at work right now, so teaching tiny humans.
Yeah, you're doing such a good job at it.
Again, more, another connection that you guys have was teachers, so.
Yeah.
So, where.
She's a lawyer in my opinion, but whatever. We don't have to get into that.
Yeah, no. I've had that conversation with her many, many times. I still call her all the time for legal advice, and she's like, "Derek, I don't do that anymore." I'm like, "You still know. Don't go there. You still have that Juris Doctorate. It's not like you immediately ripped it up, doctor."
Yeah. I don't know where I would be without her. I really don't. Shout out. You know who you are.
She's good people.
Anyway, what were we talking about before?
I don't even fucking know at this point. We've gone onto rambling central. But that's fine. I enjoy that too. Because it's not. One of the things about me in this show is that, yeah, we're gonna have a central topic. You know what I mean? But at the same time, that topic only goes so far, and I like to get to know the person that we're talking to. Yeah, great. You have a new music album coming out. Great. We can talk about that for 10 minutes. Okay, now tell me about you guys. I want to know about you guys. Let's have some fun. Let's crack some jokes. Let's be real. That's what I like to do.
There was way too much negativity going on right now. Let's just chill.
Exactly.
Hang out and talk about things that are important, but also not get too bummed about it.
Exactly. And that's why, in conversations like this, I do take a lot of right turns and a lot of left turns to get off topic for a moment, just to kind of as a palate cleanser.
It's not good for us because I do the same thing too. So we could be a mile off topic and not even realize it until tomorrow.
Yeah, those moments are like, sucking on some ginger in between, a sushi roll.
Relate to that.
I'm gonna change the name of my show to "Sucking on Ginger."
Suck it up. Suck up the ginger. Suck it up and...
Yeah, well, actually, that's exactly where the name came from. Was the phrase? Yeah, the phrase was "suck it." Yeah. So as a kid growing up in the '90s with somebody who was like me, who's bipolar, and got depressed a lot, I was always told to suck it up, and it's like, don't tell me to suck it up. You don't know what I'm going through. So my response to them was always, "Suck it." Well, suck it. Whatever. Fuck you. So that's where the name of the show came from. To tell the world to suck it. For anyone who tells you to suck it up in life, tell them to suck it. Tell life to suck it. That's the metaphor there.
And our family is too sensitive.
You know, my grandfather once told me, "Hey, that's what whiskey's for." Well, Grandpa, alcohol is a depressant, so it's only gonna make it worse. But thanks. You know, that's my life.
Well, I love what you're doing.
I appreciate that.
My name is Laura, and I approve of this message.
Well, I'm glad that you approve this message.
I enjoy long walks on the beach. She, her pronouns. Excuse me. Water enthusiast.
A water enthusiast or moonshine enthusiast. We're not sure exactly. She's saying it's water, but she originally said it was moonshine. Could go either way.
How will they know?
It's true. How would they know?
They'll never know.
Exactly. Laura, it's been fun talking to you.
Yeah, I can't wait to do it again.
Oh, we're gonna have some more conversations because you're a lot of fun, and we're gonna do some.
I was expecting to do this for an hour, and I was like, what are we going on, an hour and a half now? I mean, I know we weren't really recording the first half hour, but good time.
Yeah, well, we'll get there, and we'll definitely come back, and we'll have some more conversations because this was awesome, and we need to do something else again.
I agree. Let's do it.
Right.
So text me. You get in touch with my people, or my people will get in touch with your people, and then we'll rendezvous here at some point in the future.
Absolutely, I agree. But again, thank you so much for coming on. I really do appreciate it.
Thank you so much for having me.
Not a problem. And again, for everybody else, thank you so much for joining us on this beautiful Monday. Remember, be an advocate. Don't be silent. But until tomorrow, everybody stay happy, stay healthy, and as always, stay fucking heavy. We'll see you guys later. Peace.